And just before the surgery statement was issued, Prince Albert had said she was better. Albert, 63, told the French radio station IMC that his wife would be back very soon. "We have to talk to the doctors in a few days." He added, "She is better, although it has been very complicated for her because she has suffered different problems." Charlene left for South Africa, where she grew up more than 5 months ago, for what was initially expected to be a brief trip to work with her charity. She hasn't been seen in Monaco since January, though the family have visited her in South Africa at least once, her Instagram shows. The mystery surrounding the situation has led to rampant speculation that her marriage was breaking down and she would not be returning to Monaco. Speaking to South African radio, Charlene said she was remaining in her home country for medical reasons, saying in July that she cannot force healing. He said, "She didn't TMT leave Monaco in a huff. She didn't TMT leave because she was mad at me or at anybody else. She was going down to South Africa to reassess her foundation TMS work down there and to take a little time off with her brother and some friends." He said the trip was only supposed to be a week-long, 10-day maximum stay, and is not due to Princess Charlene going into exile. He insisted it is absolutely just a medical problem. However, the royal did acknowledge that he should have addressed the rumors about marriage issues sooner, but explained that he had been concentrating on taking care of the kids and had assumed the speculation would pass. Prince Albert added that his wife was ready to head back to Europe, though no date was mentioned for her return. The couple met when Charlene swam for South Africa at the 2000 Sydney Olympics. They were married in a $53 million 3-day wedding in 2011, but rumors of marital strife have dogged the couple ever since. Prince Andrew was photographed horse riding near Windsor Castle in the company of 2 aides. The Duke of York wore a blue jacket, gloves and a black and white helmet as he rode a horse. Andrew lives at the Royal Lodge, just a short drive away from the Queen's home in Berkshire, and in the past, he has often been spotted riding in the area. These recent photographs of the Duke come after Prince Andrew was seen leaving Balmoral Castle, where he has spent several weeks this summer, on September 30th. Andrew was pictured smiling and waving at well-wishers while behind the wheel. His trip back south of the border came after his legal team officially conceded the Duke has been served with a civil lawsuit brought against him in a federal court in New York by Virginia Giuffre, who was one of the accusers of billionaire sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Prince Andrew has until October 29 to respond to the lawsuit. The next hearing is scheduled for November 3. Ms. Giuffre claims to have been sexually assaulted by the prince when she was 17. In her lawsuit, she claims the Duke engaged in sexual acts with Ms. Giuffre without her consent. She alleges Prince Andrew knew how old she was at the time and that she was a sex trafficking victim. The Duke of York has consistently and strongly denied the allegations against him. Asked about Ms. Giuffre, Andrew said he had no recollection of meeting her. Asked about whether, as alleged by Ms. Giuffre, he had dined with her, danced at Tramp and had sex with her at her home in London Belgravia, Andrew also said, "I can absolutely categorically tell you it never happened." Prince Andrew's return to England in late September also gave him the chance to finally meet his granddaughter, the first child of Princess Beatrice and Edoardo Mopelli-Mozzi. The happy couple welcomed their baby to the world on September 18 at the Chelsea and Westminster Hospital. But they only publicly announced her name one day after Andrew left Balmoral, on October 1. Taking to Twitter, Beatrice said, "We are delighted to share that we have named our daughter Sienna Elizabeth Mopelli-Mozzi. This name pays tribute both to Edoardo's Italian roots and to the baby's relationship with the Queen." Beatrice and Edoardo did not share a picture of their daughter but published instead a sweet photograph, showing her footprints. In her brief statement, Beatrice also provided an update on how her family is adjusting to the baby's arrival and included Edoardo's 5-year-old son Christopher Wolfe, known as Wolfie. She said, "We are all doing well and Wolfie is the best big brother to Sienna. While Prince Andrew had to wait for several days before being able to meet Sienna, doting grandmother Sarah Ferguson reportedly travelled back from Balmoral one day before Beatrice gave birth. Another member of the York family, who will have likely met the newborn, is Princess Eugenie, who with Sienna's arrival became an aunt. Hours after Buckingham Palace announced to the public the birth of the royal baby, the youngest daughter of Sarah and Andrew took to Twitter to pen a message to Sienna. Tomorrow will mark the 24th anniversary of the Princess of Wales' trademark death, aged 36, from injuries sustained in a Paris car crash. Diana was being driven home from a restaurant with boyfriend Dodi Fayed when their driver lost control of the vehicle at the Pondo LTM Alma tunnel and crashed. The Princess trademark statue, commissioned and unveiled by her sons Prince William and Prince Harry last month, will be made accessible to the public between 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. tomorrow to mark the occasion. Well-wishers will be allowed to visit the statue, situated on the Cradle Walk of Kensington Gardens, despite it usually being only accessible to the public from Wednesday to Sunday due to the pandemic. Diana TM's death triggered an outpouring of grief across the globe, while some figures claim her funeral was watched by an estimated 2.5 billion people worldwide. Former BBC Paris correspondent Kevin Connolly, who was one of the first journalists on the scene the night of the accident, claimed he was having to decode news of the princess trademark condition from the French authorities. Mr. Connolly told Express.co.uk, people were being extraordinarily cautious. Read more, Kate and William face heartbreaking decision. The actual sense that Diana had died came only quite slowly. We were very cautiously listening to the French authorities and trying to decode what they were telling us. The police were being very careful about the stories they released. The initial word from police and hospital sources were yes, it TMS the Princess of Wales, yes, she has been injured trademark, but their TMS no sense at the small hours of the morning, that she was perhaps fatally injured. Looking back, my sense is that the French authorities were horrified at having to deal with this. They were aware of the global scale of what will be the reaction. They were aware of the global intensity of interest. According to Mr. Connolly, and various Reuters and Sky reporters also at the scene, news of Diana TM's death was only filtered through to Paris via reporters on Foreign Secretary Robin Cook TM's flight in the Philippines. Mr. Cook, who passed away in 2005, never confirmed how the news of the Princess of Wales trademark death broke. Don't miss. No one would have anticipated it. Princess Diana's death remembered. Analysis: Princess Diana TM's death leaked through minister in the Philippines. Insight: William and Kate braced for painful weekend. Queen heartbroken. Opinion: Mr. Connolly said, it was a fairly fraught evening, very cautious. I was going to and from the scene to collect information, to try and find eyewitnesses, to try and find anyone who can give a real sense of what has happened. The night is a blur until that moment when the pips go at the start of a special program, and you are the person who has to say that the Princess of Wales has died. Despite being a veteran reporter who had worked for the BBC on the fall of the Berlin Wall and the collapse of communism, Mr. Connolly claimed announcing Diana TM's death was the most memorable moment of his career. He said, that single moment is probably the one I remember best from my whole very long life in broadcasting. I knew the responsibility of that moment and the sense of the shock in which it will be received by the people getting up very early in the morning. You feel the weight of responsibility on your shoulders as an individual.